Trigger Happy TV song stuck in my head. I don't know why.
I hated that show. Did you like
It
that
wasn't.
show?
No, it wasn't a good show. I've just got that. Dun,
Okay.
dun, 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 dun,
Nope.
dun, dun, dun. It used to always be on. We're live, but I don't care. I'll finish my conversation first. You can wait, people. It used to always be on like Channel 4 late at night, like during the comedy sort of bit. And I used to like the Friday night show, I think it was, and it had like Ricky Gervais and Sacha Baron Cohen before he was like Borat and stuff. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another 42 Level 1 News, where we... That's not even the intro. I can't remember the news intro. I don't know what I did last week. You probably won't remember. You weren't very chatty last week on the news. But here we are again, back to discuss the week in news in video games in audio and visual form. Hi. I need to work on that intro. I don't know why I can't remember. It's because I was thinking. It's because I've got that theme song stuck in my head. Anyway, I'm one of host Ali. That one over there is Andy. And we have to talk
Hello.
about. We
I'm
have to
here.
talk about news, all the news, lots of things. But we need to talk about Alan, and we need to talk about eFootball, Andy. So why don't you rattle off some of the minor news stories compared to the what the fuck's happened? Not with Alan Wake, but we'll get to the soccer balls of it.
Yes. There's been a bunch of news.
Do you think
things
they've made a
that
balls
happened.
up? Do you see what I did?
Oh, gee. I think so. Xbox had a stream for the Tokyo Game Show, which is very strange because like
It's not though.
they
When you think they want to
well
make a dent in Asia.
they're trying to get into Japan, China, like all these sort of places because they're basically untapped markets for
Xbox,
Microsoft. Like yeah, if you look at the sales charts, like for
Yes.
consoles, Microsoft
They
will sell like
they don't
they'll
care
sell
about
like 20
Xbox.
consoles. They'll sell like 20 consoles a week in Japan,
They don't care.
and like you're selling like 100,000 PS5s. Like Japan, what? I don't want to see this. Oh my God, Jesus! Put your camera up. Oh my God, no one wants to see that baby. But yeah, but they did show off like some new stuff coming to Game Pass. Like that's
Yep.
the only stuff that I saw that I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Which wasn't just
And it
exclusive to
was
Japan though, because it's on.
no, came over here as well, which is cool. But yeah, so there was a couple of things coming to Game Pass basically that were announced, like, oh, it's coming to Game Pass like today, tomorrow, that sort of thing. Which were Scarlet Nexus was one of the games, which
Yeah, I don't fancy
I believe
it's
is
an anime
quite a
game.
new. It's quite a new game though, so.
This year anyway, yeah, I think.
Yeah. So there was that one, and then there was also AI, the Somnium Files came out already as well. Like I think it was they both came yesterday. So yeah, those are both on Game Pass now. There was something else as well, but it didn't. I did not recognize it or download it. I don't think. Yeah, Somnium Files. You know that was it. There was also a launch trailer for Back for Blood. Do you know the more I see this game, the less interested I am.
I'm not interested in it anymore. Like, see for a game like this, I think it'd get announced way too early. Games like this don't need to build hype. Maybe announce they're doing it, but I think the beta, the trials, the look at this, it's just Left 4 Dead. It's like I don't think it's got legs, but we'll see. We'll see. There's got to be some Left 4 Dead fans still out there. Not me.
I think it being on Game Pass is like good for it because it means that there'll be a lot of people will be able to jump in and
True.
try it and then go like, yeah, I don't really want to play this. Like, fuck this. But it's not too far away. There was some Nintendo news this week, so I want to wrap this up in a one bit basically.
But we
so,
can't because there's still loose ends after the last one I posted. Did you
It's
see
not
that?
what it says after the last. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. But basically, so some
So Bloomberg,
sources.
Bloomberg spoke
Yeah.
to 11 different sources.
11 different sources who were claimed to be developers, which probably are.
They are.
And they claimed to have dev kits from Nintendo that were capable of supporting doing 4K, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
Fine. Yeah.
So that's fine. And then people started going back on the Switch Pro bandwagon again, being like, oh, does this mean Switch Pro is happening? Nintendo's working on it, blah, blah, blah. So, like, obviously all the news stories took this, ran with it, made all the stories, made all the videos, whatnot. And then Nintendo of Japan came out.
Woke up in the morning.
Just the next day. The morning, first thing in the morning, they look at, they're like, oh, what's the agenda for today? And they look, oh, Twitter, oh, fuck. There's a shitstorm going on. People think we're making a Switch Pro.
Yeah, missed calls from shareholders. What?
We are not making Switch Pro. Please buy Switch OLED.
Yeah, it's practically what they've said, because like even before this next news article that was the latest update to it, it says to me they're not going to admit to a 4K Switch right now, because then their sales will instantly plummet. People will cancel pre-orders of the OLED if they turn around and say, yeah, the 4K Switch is next year. So I've got a theory on this that seems the most likely. My theory is the Switch Pro was at one point real, that they were indeed going to do a 4K dock 1080 handheld. Makes sense, it's the next step. And then the worldwide shortage happened. COVID happened, like supply issues, the worldwide supply chain shortened. So they went, do you know what, guys? We planned for a fiscal year to release this. Let's slap the OLED screen on the standard Switch, give them some white Joy-Cons and a new dock, and we'll just focus on the Switch successor, which might not even be called Switch. So then this article isn't lying at all. It's like, we've got no plans for a 4K Switch, but it could have a new name. Do you know what I mean? Like the 3DS, like the Game Boy Color. This could be the 3 Switches, you know, the new Switch U. But you get my point. Like, this could be cleverly worded, and I think it is, because they're making out as if the OLED is the be-all and end-all and the last ever console will do. No, what they need is people to buy this console at the $350 price tag, or $309 over here, so that they then can release a Switch 2 at £400 and people won't go, oh, it's too dear. Because what they'll say is, oh, this is in 4K, and we accept that the last one was 300, so this makes sense that this is now in the ballpark of Series X. However, if they just jump straight to the £400 figure, Andy, I think it's going to be a harder sale for a Nintendo, which is always everybody's secondary or third console, you know, like it's never really, it's some people's main. But
I had a Wii as my main console.
I said the Switch. I said the Switch. The Wii was a bigger thing at the time.
The Switch, you could probably be better having a Switch as your main console than the fucking Wii.
Yeah, like, no, 100% you are, but the Wii had different games and like. But anyway, like the Switch, like I said, I don't believe this article fully. I believe what they're saying is true for the moment, but they've never denied it. They never said this is not going to happen. They said we have no plans for one.
As of like today.
As of today,
like,
but tomorrow that could change.
Tomorrow?
Next year that might be different. Because basically, if people found out the 4K was coming, I'll say this again, the pre-orders for the OLED would drop. I would even probably cancel mine if they said a 4K is coming next year. I'd be like, you know, even though I'll get it.
Yeah, you just wait. Yeah.
I'll get it. But I would wait at that point. I would see less of a point in OLED. However, I don't think the Switch Pro is coming. I think the Switch 2 is coming now at this point. And my guess now is 2023. I think next year's too close to the OLED release for them to do it, because they will piss off a lot of people, because this console again has sold out most places. I know there's restocks happening, but I mean, you're talking a full year of OLED before and then I think start of 2023 they announce, look, Switch 2's coming, or whatever they call it, fully backwards compat like Game Boy Color and 3DS, but it's got its own library of games. However, this time I don't think it'll be like 3DS and Game Boy Color that had a small library of games. 3DS had a bit more than Game Boy Color, I would argue, because they had such a big market in the Game Boy, they couldn't cut it off. I think this time round, what you're going to see is a lot of third parties. Like, you're going to get proper FIFA now, you're going to get like Call of Duty maybe on a 4K system, whereas standard Switch won't run it.
If they can do it so that it can be comparable to Series S.
Yes, that's all they need. Yeah.
Because I mean, look how small that system is.
Yeah.
Like, that system's tiny and it weighs fucking nothing. Like, if you cut it down, like, could you chop that down into a handheld?
Someone could.
Maybe.
Someone's probably working on it, because you know you get all these modder guys that do this stuff. Somebody fit a Wii into a Game Boy shell, remember? And they
exactly. Yeah,
it's possible, because they figure out the parts of the chipboard that's not needed, and they sold it down and cut it. Yep.
Like, Sony's fucking already done it, like with the PS5, like already.
Absolutely, yeah. So
not a huge amount, but like a tiny bit.
Again, I'm not stirring the Switch Pro pot. I think the Switch Pro is dead now.
No. Yeah.
I think that the rumours are true, that there is 4K dev kits out there, but I think these are now being put in use for the successor to the Switch at this point. I think they've just cut the losses and they went, OLED will see us through to next year, which it will. It will absolutely see through to the end of next year, because the restocks will happen in January, February. They're going to want people to buy them in Easter, so it's probably going to be about E3 next year that you hear about this Switch, the new Switch.
Dude, Do you know what the other thing is that
Yes.
that Nintendo could easily do? Like,
What's
so
that?
they're doing cloud gaming, right?
Of course, yeah.
These cloud games, they could be in fucking 4K. Like, no
That's
problem.
also true, yeah.
Like,
But
they can
I heard
output them in 4K. Obviously, on the actual on the Switch itself, you're not going to see it in 4K,
no.
but like they can ping it at 4K, and then once you've got something that like from Nintendo that can take a 4K, then it's just and then it's done.
See,
So they could the new games that they're developing, they might as well develop them in 4K for when they make a changeover to something new. Because especially if you like, so the other news story you posted about was Nintendo's working on this upscaling technology. They've got a patent in for it.
yes.
Placed in March 2020. So basically, when the pandemic hit, Nintendo went, let's work on upscaling.
Yep, because they've kind of realised that 4K became the standard. I would argue quicker than HD became the standard. HD, it took a long while for people to adopt that. 4K, people have just kind of went, yeah, cool, 4K UHD, that's the one. Yep, it just took over. So I think Nintendo were like, nah, we're cool in HD. 4K is going to take a while, and I think they're behind in that because 4K is all of a sudden in the last year just went, everyone's got it now. 4K is the standard.
Yep.
I think 8K will take a bit longer now at this point because everybody's moved to 4K.
The thing is, as well, though, like 8K, you don't need 8K.
No, that I can only see in 4K.
you can't see in 8K, no. So like, okay, it will look better in 4K.
Yeah.
But you can't actually see the 8K.
No.
So what's the point? There's some indie games and stuff like that are doing 8K and stuff like that, but
VR will be better for it.
Game. VR, yes, that's the reason to do 8K. But like, there's some indie games and stuff like that doing 8K just now, but they're just doing it
to be the first.
To be 8K. Like the first one that goes like, oh, we are 8K on PS5.
Yeah,
I can't remember what game it was.
It looks like a Minecraft blocky road game.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. Like, what's the benefit of putting that in 8K? Like, see if you're playing fucking Gran Turismo in 8K, like, fine, okay, you might notice one extra raindrop here or there, like, compared to the 4K.
Because it's just a resolution, and your eyes can only see to 4K resolution, so it makes no sense. It's a buzzword at that point.
Yeah, totally. It's because 4K was like,
you might know.
It's more than that.
You might notice it clearer. It might be able to compact pixels better. I don't know the way it works. I'm not that into that sort of stuff. But again, Nintendo are going to do a 4K console. That is their next one. They're not going to change the form factor of the Switch. And at this point, they ain't cutting off the Switch backwards compatibility. So what you're going to get is a brand new Switch with some brand new titles that only work on it. And it's going to work with every other Switch game backwards.
The cool thing about the Switch is, right, like, think about what Nintendo's done with the cartridges. Think how small those cartridges are, right?
Look at something like The Witcher. It's all on the cartridge.
No. I mean the physical size of the cartridge, right?
True.
And that cartridge slot
compared to the Game Boy.
Tiny. Yeah, it's fucking compared to Game Boy Advance, Wii U obviously were discs, and like GameCube was like small discs. But think how small that Switch thing is, right? It's
like compared to like N64 cartridge.
It's that height. Like I've seen it taken out. It's fucking that height by that width. It's 1 inch by like maybe like half an inch. It's fucking tiny. You could plug that into any fucking console.
Yeah.
Like the Nintendo makes next. So they can they're not restricted
all they need to do is put that adapter.
By that at all.
No.
Yeah, just tiny wee adapter, and they can make their cartridges whatever form factor, because they might find that like the Switch cartridge format
slightly
is
bigger.
too physically small to fit the stuff on it that they need to do. So they might need to go for slightly bigger carts. Fine, they can still easily have the Switch add-on for it as well. Like
this happened with Game Boy Advance. You could put Game Boy original games in. Yeah, it's still slotted in. So yeah.
Well, they were just the same, like the same slot. But what I'm saying is, if Nintendo does need to go for a physically bigger cartridge, to try to fit it in, these bigger game stuff, because you're talking about 40 gigs.
Do you know what? I don't think they do, Andy. And do you know why I don't think they do? Is because they already said that they can make them bigger storage, but it just costs more. Mm-hmm. But they're going to want to invest more in them. Prices come down quicker. But something like The Witcher, I'm sure, has got much more storage on it than, say, something like Streets of Rage 4. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't need a lot, a couple of gig. Whereas The Witcher's the full game plus the DLC, man. Like, never mind the witchcraft of getting the game on Switch, but the size of that game, I think it's 32 gig.
Something says... I need to double check, because there are different ones, right. So the cartridges come in different sizes. There is 1 gig, 2 gig, 4 gig, 8 gig, 16 gig, and 32 gig.
Yeah, I'm sure 32 is quite pricey.
apparently 64 gig cartridges were planned, but then those have been delayed.
This is what I mean, though. 64 gig, you could fit a Series S version of a game on that.
But supposedly, in theory, there is no maximum size.
This is what I mean. They might not even need to change the form factor.
Yeah. So, no, you might be right.
Just make the
obviously,
cartridges a different color, like white.
Yeah, because obviously we see like your things like your micro SD cards, like those go up to like a terabyte now.
Oh yeah.
No issue. There's probably 2 terabyte ones out there.
Yeah.
By now, like the biggest one I've seen is a terabyte. But with these ones, I just kind of assumed that there was an issue with it, but I think it's actually just the cost of the things, because the memory has to be faster. Like, so obviously an SD card isn't fast enough like to be a Switch game, so it's a different type of memory. It's kind of like an SSD type thing almost.
It's an SSD SD.
Basically, that is running off of this thing.
So they've got the technology, and the price of technology, as you know, comes down. So now it's probably
you're right, yeah.
So now it's probably more feasible to have a 64 gig, even 1 to 8 gigabyte cartridge, and at that point you can get your files and such for 4K resolutions and things on it, and bigger games. Can you imagine Call of Duty Warzone in all its glory on a cartridge that size? I can almost see it happening in the world going, what the fuck? Warzone's like 100 gig and it's on this.
Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, I could definitely see that happening. I think with the amount of games that Nintendo have sold as well, like they must be into the hundreds of millions of games sold at this point. Easily. Like
Mario Kart 8 alone.
Mario Kart, like I mean across like all the games, the amount of different games that have come out, and like I don't know if you've ever been on had a look on like Switch collecting threads or anything like that, but like
I have not.
It's insane. If you remember back at the beginning when the Switch came out, like we thought it was going to be like a curated library and all the games were going to be quality and everything. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be like something I want to collect. And like I started collecting the games and then gave up after about a year because
the shovelware
they just put then they just put everything on Switch. And I'm like, okay, like some of these games are good. I'm not going to collect all of these games.
My Horse,
too many.
Ranch 2, Hello Kitty.
Yeah, everything's on there. Prices are still mad for most of the things as well. Like there's a few games have come down to be like £10, but you don't see any like £1-2 games on
Zelda's
Switch
day one and still 50 quid. Put it that way.
Zelda is a day one game and it's still over 40, I would say.
Still worth it.
But yeah,
if you haven't played
in most
Zelda.
places it's mad. Like, and you look at other games that came out at the same time, like Horizon, you can buy that for buttons.
Yeah.
Like you can buy it for a
under
$5
a tenner. Yeah, under a tenner if you shop around. Absolutely.
A tenner for the complete edition with the DLC.
Yeah.
Like.
And Zelda's not even got the DLC. Standard edition still 40 quid.
Standard edition, nothing else with it, and it sold millions and millions of copies, regardless of where you buy it, whether you buy it new or second hand. It's still
to be fair, until like Nintendo retire their console, most of the first party games like Zelda and Mario retain their high prices. Like, even in the Wii, I'm not saying it's dear, but like Mario Galaxy and stuff like that on the Wii still hold high price to this day. So yeah. And they're the games that sell millions. They're not even rare. It's just Nintendo don't devalue their games. All.
Remember, like at the beginning, like Nintendo sold more fucking copies of Breath of the Wild
than there was Switches. Yeah, absolutely. Because people were just buying them, just waiting on their Switch.
Yeah.
I think Metroid Dread's going to do well. I know Spawnwave and RGT have got a bet that if it sells over 3 million, RGT has to play Balan's Wonderland on stream. So,
which is pretty
it's going to happen.
Funny. Oh yeah, that's going to sell 3 million, no issue.
Easily.
Like there's enough hype and buzz for that game that like enough people will buy it. There's good advertising out there as well.
It was sold out. Remember, you were getting yours delivered the week after, so it's going to sell 3 million. Yeah. Absolutely is.
Definitely. But yeah, that's Nintendo, I think.
Nintendo.
Right, what else do we have? This Final Fantasy thing.
What Final Fantasy?
So Square had a stream as well, like for Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't see the stream. Did you watch the stream? I don't think you did.
Bits of it.
So, but they did give the release date for Final Fantasy Origin: Stranger of Paradise.
It's sooner than I thought. It's like March. Like, And there's a new
Yeah,
trial out.
March.
And also, it blew my mind that it's on Xbox as well. They marketed this like a PS5 exclusive, like PlayStation, because the trial was PS5. And then this trailer at the end, it said PS4, Xbox One, Series X, PS5, and trials now available on Xbox. I'm like, what? And it's a brand new trial. It's not like the beta that I took part in the PS5. However, Final Fantasy for me is a PlayStation game, so this will be a purchase for PlayStation.
Yep.
I loved it. I know everyone said Star Wars, whatever it was called. Fallen Jedi. Fallen Order.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah.
Was a Souls game. It wasn't. Final Fantasy, this is a Souls game. It's very much Souls in the Final Fantasy universe. And they did a cool kind of review, like Garland, like the villain of Final Fantasy 1 who's got the helmet and stuff. The main character in this is called Jack, and at the end of the trailer, he's wearing armour, and he says the name's Jack Garland, and it zooms out, and he's got Garland's head, so he's like one of the heroes of light, but becomes the main villain in Final Fantasy 1. Cool take on it for me.
Okay.
I like the twist on it.
Kind of okay. That interests me a little bit more. It seems like that'd be a kind of prequel to Final Fantasy 1 almost. That's what it
is. These
Okay.
guys are. You know how the original story was, we need to get the crystals because the 4 heroes of light, and it was always the heroes of light brought together the crystals. These are the heroes of light. But apparently, there's also timey-wimey in it because somebody spotted an environment from Final Fantasy 13 during it, so they might dip in and out of other Final Fantasy games, like tying them all in a thread, like a Kingdom Hearts kind of, wow, it's all linked. But I love the fact that at the end of the trailer he says, my name's Garland, and he's carrying the princess, and it's like, oh, you're the big bad guy from the first Final Fantasy that I'll never play because it's aged poorly, but...
I mean, that could have been such a cool, like,
reveal
twist ending as well, man.
However, if they're showing you this just now, what other twists have they got?
Yeah, I'll reserve judgment on that one and wait and see what you think of it when it comes out. Like from what I saw in that first trailer, I had no interest, none whatsoever.
I liked the trial. I really did. I enjoyed it more because it felt Final Fantasy. It was in a Final Fantasy setting, and like these guys are the heroes of light. This is a prequel to the first game, and the fact that they've now mentioned there could be time travel in it, that's cool to me if they visit other things and influence other events.
See, I've played a spin-off before of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy Type Zero.
Oh, that was shockingly bad. That was really bad.
It was terrible. So like, I'm definitely turned off of Final Fantasy spin-offs.
However, you have played a Final Fantasy spin-off you liked called Crisis Core.
But that was Final Fantasy 7. That was like,
it's still a spin-off of Final Fantasy. It's still a Final Fantasy spin-off. Final Fantasy Type Zero wasn't anything to do with Final Fantasy 1. Bear in mind.
No, I know. Like, so, no, it was a total spin-off. So, like, this one, yeah, I suppose this one's kind of more like Crisis Core than it is.
Yep.
Than it is Type Zero. I don't know.
You also played another Final Fantasy
like
spin-off you liked. Kingdom Hearts.
Or Cerberus. Oh, okay. Well, Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
I mean,
it's got Squall.
Kingdom Hearts is
it's got Cloud.
A weird game.
So is this? This is a prequel that time travels. Your logic is nullified.
Does it have Mickey Mouse?
This one probably not because it's not Disney, obviously.
No. But yeah,
Mickey was shit in those games anyway, so fuck him.
He was a bit shit. Donald and Goofy, not shit though. Donald and
Goofy, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, this Stranger of Paradise, I'm gonna steer clear until I see what you think of it. If you like it, then I will not buy it. If you hate it, then I'll buy it.
So stupid because we do like some games the same.
We do like some games the same, yeah. Okay. Right, let's see, what else do we have?
There's probably an argument in the middle of it is normal, so you have to skip it.
Oh, so there were some sources this week saying that the guys that made Destruction All-Stars...
yeah, I've heard this a few places.
Are apparently going to be working on the Twisted Metal revival game.
The funniest thing is the guy that's in charge of Twisted Metal said that he doubts that they would give it to those guys because they wouldn't do a very good job, and then the next news story is they've got it. He's like, hi guys, like, we get to work together. Do you know what?
The thing is, right?
I have no interest.
They should not have put out Destruction All-Stars if this might have been on the horizon.
Yeah, because Destruction All-Stars is very similar.
Yeah, they should just have held off and made a Twisted Metal game, like, because the Destruction All-Stars has like some decent mechanics and things in it.
The haptics for the cars was great.
Yeah, and like the driving and stuff is totally
Yeah,
fine.
driving's fine.
Like, so if they had a potential car combat game with a built-in fan base already that they were potentially thinking about
Yeah,
working on,
Twisted
would have
Metal.
just fucking made
I
that. Like,
mean,
delayed it by what, 6 months, a year,
yeah,
put Twisted Metal on it, like, boom, there
sells
you
more.
go, sorted.
Well,
Sells more
the other thing
instantly,
is,
and it ties up to the new TV show that's
yeah,
coming.
that's what I was going to say. You've invested money in hiring Marvel's most boring actor, Anthony Mackie, to star in your Twisted Metal TV series. I I don't know. Like, that's a swing and a miss. Like, I don't understand. Like, I know it's got fans, but this is more of a cult game at this point. Yeah, it's hard like Crash Bandicoot. It's hard like Tomb Raider. It's not an all-time classic. It's Twisted Metal that, like, I would argue Wipeout's a more popular game. Not that you could have a TV series based on that, although I would watch a TV series
Well, they,
based on it.
they already did. They already did Wipeout. Like,
As
they
a TV series?
remastered it.
As a TV
Or
series.
remade it.
What I'm talking about is a
No,
TV
not
show.
TV.
So I'm talking about a TV show, right? TV show about all I remember about Twisted Metal is like Destruction Derby, but there's an ice cream van, a clown with a flaming head,
Clown,
and
yeah. That's it. That is literally it. I couldn't tell you a single other thing.
yeah. So
It's cars with guns.
yeah, so like they
And there's
really
an
need
ice
to get
cream
Jason Statham involved in this because he's in movies like this all the time. But I just think it's a swing and a
100%.
miss. Maybe it's a one-off movie, animated, but they're going full ahead. I understand The Last of Us. I understand it fully. Walking Dead's winding down.
Yep.
It's a slightly different twist because it's not actually zombies, and there's a tale at the heart of it between a father and his quote-unquote daughter. You know, with his, I don't know,
Yep.
not surrogate daughter, but you know, like almost whatever. It's a father-daughter relationship, and it's going to be an amazing. They've got the right cast for it in my mind. Like, it looks spot on, and they're gonna. That's a winner. But then they went, what do we do next? Uncharted would be cool. Someone went, no, Uncharted. Don't make me laugh. And someone goes, God of War. He gets thrown out the window. The guy that says Twisted Metal, give him a raise. Twisted Metal is where we're going next. Ratchet and Clank, yes, people loved that pilot that leaked. Not Ratchet and Clank either, though. Twisted Metal, that game that hasn't been popular since the PlayStation 1. Wasn't even popular in the PlayStation 2. The 1 and 3 flopped, but they're bringing it back as a. They feel they need to invest in it. Like, you've just did Ghost of Tsushima. Do a fucking show on that and people will watch it. Be current. Like, there you've got diversity in the cast, you know, for your hiring. Sony look good for doing it. And it's like, nope, Twisted Metal. And who are we going to get? Falcon. Because he's great at carrying stuff. Oh my goodness, man. He's the most deflating actor the minute he's on screen when you see him. Like, and that's saying something when he's next to Chris Evans. Okay? So Anthony Mackie ruined one of my favourite Netflix shows. He is the most boring Captain America I've ever seen in my life on screen. I would much rather the guy that played Bucky became him, and that's nothing to do with skin colour, that's just to do with acting chops. In fact, give it to Samuel Jackson, let him be Captain America before Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie just ruins my screen.
No.
Of course you like him. Of course you do.
I like Anthony Mackie a lot. Like, I like him as Falcon. I like him as Captain America.
Yes.
He's brilliant. I prefer him to be Captain America over Bucky, right? But
you're wrong. It's fine though.
I do agree with you on Altered Carbon. Him as what is his name? What's his name? Kovac. Him as Kovac was fucking terrible. He was absolutely awful, and he ruined that second season of that show.
He did.
Like, and I don't know if it was his fault or if it was the direction of
it was. Do you know why it was his fault? Because he's so fucking boring, Andy. Right? So, like, the guy that played him originally, I didn't even know who he was, and he did a great job as an unknown actor. I wanted him back.
Brilliant.
He was great. Anthony Mackie came in as a slightly getting their name that people start to know. I also watched a movie with him where he was a fucking cyborg army guy on Netflix who actually, like, it was so fucking boring. It's like, do you know what? Do you know who Anthony Mackie should play? Fucking Data in Star Trek. That's the sort of role that he would be good at, because he fucking, like, no wonder he get cast as a cyborg. Anyway, like,
I like him. Do you know, Mark hates him as well. Like, I get into this with Mark all the time.
He's so boring. He's so boring. Take away the Marvel universe, and you have seen him in a brilliant TV show, Altered Carbon, based on some great books that I've read a couple of now.
He was really bad in.
Yes, but that's who he is. So you take away the Falcon suit, and he's just random person being Marvel. You don't pay attention to him. He made Chris Evans look like an Oscar-winning actor.
I liked him also in the movie that he was in with The Rock.
What was that?
What was that? The bodybuilder movie where they were taking steroids.
Yes, Pain and Gain. That was
And again,
one
that
of
was
the
the
most
one. Yeah,
boring movies.
fucking
Billed
brilliant.
as a
It's a
comedy.
brilliant movie.
Mark Wahlberg, Baby John Cena, whatever his name is, like he is fucking
I
awful.
loved that.
Mark
I loved that
Wahlberg,
movie. It was
who
great.
comes on and depresses his way through all the lines that he says, bores the way through the Transformers until they have to fucking
Great
reboot
movie.
the movie. Like Michael Bay
No, but
makes her.
Pain Again was great.
No, it
Pain Again
wasn't.
was
A
great.
bank robber
And
with some boring
Anthony
bastards.
Mackie was hilarious in it.
The Rock wakes up with nightmares about that movie, and he's done films with Jack Whitehall. Anyway.
Anyway, moving on.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Twisted Metal. I have zero interest, zero nostalgia whatsoever for Twisted Metal.
Oh,
Like
3.
none at all.
No, I didn't even like it on PlayStation 1.
PlayStation Plus games for October coming out on Tuesday are Hell Let Loose on PS5, Mortal Kombat X on PS4, and Golf 2K21 PGA. Golf, maybe? Will you play golf?
I got it. It's okay. I got it in Xbox when
Yeah.
it came out. It's fine.
I already have Mortal Kombat because it was in the PlayStation
this
Plus
cat.
collection on PS5 already,
Right,
so
move.
there's nothing
Out.
nothing new for us there. And then it's Hell Let Loose looks like some kind of like World War II game, which is
Pointless.
I think it's
really
really
there.
God's about to come out, but what is good for this is like people can just go, oh well, if I want to play World War II stuff, I can just play this,
Or play it in
and I'll just
Battlefield.
buy Battlefield. I'll just play Battlefield instead.
Yeah, but you can play World War II in Battlefield because they're using all eras.
Well, yeah, but we're not totally sure what's coming at launch with that mode yet. So World War II things might not be in it, or World War One or whatever it is.
It's both.
But yeah, that's coming. Games Master reboot. Oh wait, actually, let's talk about the Games with Gold first. Games with Gold.
Oh,
First,
Games of Gold
Talk
died
about
2
this.
years ago.
Well, yeah, but they're still coming. Aero is one of the games, and then there is Hover. There's Aero and Hover.
It's because
I
all
don't
the
know what
good
those
games
are.
are on fucking.
They're
games.
Xbox One games, but on the Xbox 360, on that front, they're okay. You're getting Castlevania Harmony of Despair, which is like
I
I,
don't
think
like
it's quite a rare
Castlevania.
game, so I don't like it. And then Resident Evil Code Veronica X
That's a good game.
HD.
Which is actually the real
So-
Resident Evil 3. Fun fact.
Yeah, so those are coming this month for Halloween.
Yeah, Veronica's good, but it's not aged well. It's the last game with the tank controls. It's probably the only. It plays kind of okay.
Do you think they'll remake that one? Because obviously
They have to.
They've
They
remade
have to.
2, they've remade 3,
But then
they're
they've moved on to
remaking
4. Yeah, they'll have to.
Well, they're
because
remaking it, yeah. So
Veronica's better than
then they'll
5.
do this one. They'll do
Well,
this one.
this one should have been done before 4, so depends where they're going with the new canon. Because see, with the new canon, they're not changing it that much, but they're changing certain details. So they could leave it out and it wouldn't affect the series. Put it that way. Because I mean, the way it's gone now is it's 0, remake 1, remake 2, remake 3, then it'll be remake 4, and I don't know if they'll do 5 and 6. If they do, they do. But like, it's just they're not going to change that much. They might. If they want money, people loved it. I had it on Dreamcast. It was good.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, people have loved the 2 and 3 remakes. Like, they've
They're
been
good,
very well received.
really good. And one was, to be honest, one was well received as well when it came out.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it's held up. Like
You
the
can say
remake
that,
of
but it doesn't matter when people liked it when it came out. Like you're now jumping on a game
like-
that's 20 years old, Andy. Bear in mind, it came out in the
Look,
GameCube.
compare it to like what they've done with Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, but
Like, that's
this is a
proper fucking
20-year-old. This is Andy. You're mad. This Resident
Resident
Evil
Evil
1
2 isn't that
remake.
much
Resident Evil
Younger than
1.
1.
Resident Evil 1's 20 years old. You fool. Resident Evil 1 remake's 20 years
Yeah.
old. It came out in 2001. On the GameCube. So it's 20
Sure.
years old. You're basing this on a game that came out in 2019. So it's very
Yeah,
different,
but
the technology that was available.
They should have remade. They should have
remade.
completely,
They
like,
should have
yes.
No, they did remake 1 because you're playing the remake of the original 1.
Yeah, but they should
Right.
remake that.
They should
again, so that it's
remake
like
it.
in
Yeah, they're not going
2
to
and
because
3.
it is still very
They should
playable.
make it so that it's in 2 and 3.
They're not going to. It's very playable in its current form.
Right, Games Master. Let's talk about that. Games Master is coming back.
Yeah, with the guy
It's
from
coming back to
Bunniston.
Channel 4. And yeah, so they have announced the presenters for the show. And is this was that last story the actual Games Master as well? Then
No, they haven't announced the Games Master yet. There was talk of Patrick Stewart,
Right.
but I think what they'd be smart doing is just getting Dominic Diamond to do it over satellite link from Canada.
Yep, I think that's what they will do, and I think that's the only reason that they haven't announced
And
it
do
yet.
you know why I think that they're doing it that way? Is because Dominic Diamond I backed it. It was a Kickstarter book about the history of Games Master. And
Yep.
he's talking a lot. For years, he wouldn't speak Games Master on Twitter. He didn't want to talk about it. Seen the last year and two, he's been talking more and more about Games Master, and then he worked on this project. He wrote the book with the guys that put it out. The book's coming, I think, this year or early next year. So the fact that he's been ramping up the Games Master, it says to me that they're going to cast him as the actual Games Master. There's only 3 episodes, but I think this is a trial, and if it does well, they'll do more. The 3 episodes are going to YouTube first of all, which is weird, and then E4 is standard broadcast. So I think this is just a dipping their toes in the water to see if people still want it. I think people will still want this because it's fondly remembered. Games Master was cracking. I absolutely loved it. I'm glad they're going down proper Games Master by the looks of it, rather than, remember when it was first announced and it was just going to be Celebrity Games Master?
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. Like they seem to be doing the right sort of stuff so far. So it's Robert Florence is the host, and he's going to be joined
Florence.
by Frankie Ward and Ty Logan. I don't know
I've
who
no
those
idea
people
who the other two are, but Rab Lawrence is from Burniston. That's where I know him from mainly. He's the shorter guy. If you want to know who he is,
the bald
YouTube.
guy.
Go on YouTube and look up Scottish Elevator. I love him. Voice acted Elevator.
Yeah, you have to.
I think he'll be good.
A Scottish person can't say 11. You have to say 11.
11. I
You
remember
have to
the
put an English
correct.
accent on, or you don't get understood.
Do you know what? I'll say,
Same with
Hey Google's not
Sizzles.
bad. Siri hates it.
Sizzles is
Purple
Sizzles is
Burglars as
not-
well. What was the thing?
purple.
Purple Burglars. But yeah, the thing is, like, I think he'll be good. I'm not a fan of Burnston. I think there's a couple of sketches that were good, but I think he will be good as the Dominic Diamond replacement. But yeah, do you know what? I want Dominic Diamond to show up. I don't want him being Games Master. I want Patrick Stewart to be Games Master. There's something about the Games Master that has to be British English sounding, and that goes in contrast with the heavy Scottish accent. I definitely think that works. Like, Patrick Stewart would be genius at
Maybe.
it. He's up for a laugh. He might do it. Anyway,
I don't.
I'm
Patrick
watching it.
Stewart's going to be. Patrick Stewart's not going to do it. He's too expensive.
you never know. He doesn't need the cash.
Patrick
Ian McKellen
Stewart is
could
like
do
a
it.
fucking mega. Ian McKellen's the same as Patrick Stewart.
He doesn't
Like,
care. They don't
million.
care. Have you seen them? They're down to earth guys. They're not really going to do it.
They
Anyway,
are, and like they would absolutely do like a stage play for like Scratch, whatever. They won't care because it's like furthering their thespian actor or whatever, and they can coach young other actors or whatever. They would love that sort of shit. They don't want to be a computerized head.
do you know who they should get?
giving games advice.
I
They
know
don't
who should.
do that.
I know who they should get.
It's Dominic Diamond.
The young version of Patrick Moore. What's his name? You like him, Brian? He's a scientist as well. He does.
Oh, Brian Cox,
yes,
like the young guy,
Yes.
Brian Cox,
with the
not
Beatles
the
hair.
actor Brian Cox.
No,
Yeah,
Brian
yeah.
Cox with the Beatles hair. Absolutely, because
Yeah.
that's the modern day equivalent of Patrick Moore.
He also is not going to fucking do that.
He might. Depends. If he likes games, he will.
I don't know. I've never heard him say anything that's not about like the solar
Science.
system or stars or science. So I don't know if he has any other interests. I should not.
Jude, would people not have said the same about Patrick Moore before Games Master? Yes, they would have.
But I mean, did he really have any interest in video
No.
games?
But does he need to?
He's fucking hilarious.
I don't know.
What
I don't.
what about David Attenborough? David Attenborough?
Absolutely not. No, he's following ants just now or something. No, I don't think that would work.
I
Neil
think he's
deGrasse
cool.
Tyson would work.
Neil deGrasse Tyson would work, yeah. Or what about what was the guy? I'm trying to think of like the guests that they've had on fucking
Elon
Big
Musk.
Bang. Elon Musk.
Bill Nye, the
Spoke
science
out,
guy.
yeah. Bill Nye, yeah, he would work. Yeah. Are these people still alive? I don't know.
No, I think we've probably hit it in the head that it will be Dominic Diamond. I think that's why they've not announced it, and I think that's why Dominic Diamond's been ramping up the Games Master stuff because he's now the Games Master.
I think it's the only reason to really keep it like in suspense.
Yes, is it
Like,
someone we
as
know?
if it's gonna be somebody that we know either from Games Master
And when you
or
think about
from...
it, he won't have to go to London to film
No,
this.
no. I know what it is. I know what would be better.
Reggie.
Fucking Reggie.
Yeah,
It's going to be the Reginator.
Reggie.
Yes.
And that would be
That'd be
amazing.
Like, it won't be Games Master, it'll be the Reginator.
It'd be amazing. But however, I do think it'll be Dom McDiamond. The reason is because he won't have to go from Canada to London. He can film it with a green screen in his house. All they needs his head with a green screen. And he would absolutely do it. The fact that... See if it was 3 years ago, I'd have said Dom McDiamond's no interest because he said before, his Twitter bio used to read, I don't want to talk about Games Master or something along those lines. He deleted that and now he will engage with fans about Games Master left, right and centre. I think that the reason this project got off the ground was because he agreed to be part of it, but said only if I can be Games Master.
And I think that would fit in with everything that we know about Dominic Diamond. This makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see it happening. Right, what else do we have? Do we have anything else that's of massive note?
Yeah, let's just. Do you know
from the two big stories?
What do you want to finish on? Do you want to finish on the balls, or do you want to finish on a positive note? Do we talk about football or Alan first?
I want to finish on a positive, so let's talk about these fucking balls.
Yeah, let's talk about the balls. So, Andy's going to take the lead in this because he's got a history with this franchise since it was ISS. Don't get me wrong, I've played iterations of this game. I even had interest in the Master League, back when probably it was numbered before when it was like PS4, PS5, PS2 days. I thought that was a great way of doing things. The only annoying thing was franchises. They promised lots for Pro Evolution Soccer. They delayed it by a year to make it the best game we'd ever seen. 2 years, the fans waited. eFootball got announced. eFootball crept in, and my theory was to put it up before FIFA on the shelves. And then they dropped the PES title. And I've got a theory of why they've done that now, that I talked to you about before. But Andy, so we normally talk about it on Tuesday, but I played a bit of this. You played a bit of this. I've been playing a bit of FIFA this year. I've got more to say about FIFA later on. But like eFootball, what do you think on it? Like, how's the graphics? Is it real to life? Like, I've seen some of the crowd pictures, Andy. They look strange. Like you're leaving the Matrix.
So with the graphics, right? So like some of the graphics are decent on the players, right? Some of them they've captured well. The animations on the player faces are not good, but I can kind of come and go with that sort of stuff.
Are like this size.
Yeah, but as I say, I can come and go with some of that sort of stuff. But like the actual graphics of the gameplay side, they don't look any better than they did on Xbox One or PS4 at all. They look bog standard to that. There's no upgrade whatsoever that I can see. And like with FIFA, you can see it when you go from like last gen to current gen.
100%. I agree. Yep.
You can 100% see it. On old PES to this PES, you cannot see it. And the problem, the reason for that is that they've built it to the lowest possible spec so that it'll work on that fucking phone. Yes, and
no one wants.
I can tell you that no one wants to play it there. It's not actually even out on the phone yet. It's only out on the consoles. So we're just getting an inferior experience. I don't know what it looks like on PS4. I would imagine probably quite similar to the PS5 version.
Oh, it's not going to look much worse.
I did try it on both PS5 and Series X to see if there was any difference. There was not. They were exactly the same, just as bad as each other. Problem with it is they've completely changed the gameplay. Like they've moved the sprint button.
Can I interject?
They fucked the entire game.
Do you know what? I want to interject, right? As a guy that's kind of new to it, I didn't absolutely hate the whole hold right trigger, hold R2 to dribble and then long press to punt it forward. I felt that I had a bit more simulation style control rather than the arcade control of like passes just locking to feet. I felt that a lot from it, and I know I'm not educated enough about that to talk about it, but I felt that gave me anyway control. However, everybody else that plays PES has said you've just fucked it. You've fucked our only alternative to FIFA for no reason. And what was the comment today? The only reason for PES for them to release eFootball in this state is because they want to declare bankruptcy. Like this game came out. This game came out and it's free. There is a $32.99 pack that's not out to November, which has got players in it, right? People are already asking for
it now. You can buy it now.
People are asking. That's not unheard of. Games have done it before, but the thing is, they've released a game with less content than a demo. Like, and I'm not talking about an EA trial of 10 hours. I'm talking about an actual demo, like your NBA 2K prologue. Like, there is less content. I will argue and say this makes FIFA Legacy Edition on Switch look like Game of the Year. Like, in comparison with content. Because you can say what you like about it, it's still got content, it's still got a full mode, it's still got, all they've done is just updated the kits. PES, they would have been better off just giving another PES update and going, this isn't ready yet. Someone at some point must have known, this is shit, this cannot release. Someone must have said those words.
Cyberpunk argument, isn't
No,
it? Like,
this is worse than Cyberpunk.
I think. Oh yeah, totally. It's way worse because it's free. Like,
and it's incomplete. It's not even functional. So I've seen some videos. Like, I didn't have any of these problems, but referees falling through the pitch, like players turning into turtles, like their arms and legs disappearing and stuff. You can only play friendlies. It does have an online tournament thing, but I couldn't connect to any other player last night when I tried.
So I've played several matches online and a couple
events.
offline.
That's what it's called. Events. I remember now.
Events, yeah. So I played that. The matches were okay. Like, as I said, like, I've definitely got big issues with the gameplay, but like, I think everyone that has been a PES regular has the same issues with the gameplay, that it's like, it doesn't feel like PES anymore.
I don't think it plays as good
also
as FIFA.
doesn't feel like FIFA. It doesn't. Like, because it doesn't feel like FIFA either. Like, it feels like something completely different, and it's very bad because of that. It feels so loose and so slow. It's horrible. But yeah, like, the online thing, right? So you can basically, all you can do is you can jump in and play a match against a random person, and there are the challenges that you have. Or there are 2 challenges for this week.
Score 3 goals and win a match or something.
So the 2 challenges. The only 2 challenges I've seen is win 1 match out of 3, and then win 2 matches out of 3, and that rewards you with some points that you get for in-game currency that you cannot spend on anything because there isn't anything to buy anywhere. And that's it. Like, there's no like league mode or anything like that. You're not like leveling up your like a bar or anything like that. You're not like going from different divisions or anything. It's just it sees you, it chucks you against some other random person that's happened to be playing at the same time. You play and win or lose. And everyone's playing as fucking Man United, which is annoying as shit because you're just playing against Ronaldo over and over and over again, and it's boring. I am playing as Arsenal, who is one of the other licensed teams in the game.
Shite.
Because I quite like Arsenal. They're not a good team, but like I quite like their kit, and like they've got some good players that I like. So I'm like,
Arsenal were good in the early 2000s, and they haven't been for the 20 years following.
no, they haven't been. But like I like their kit, and I like some of their players. So I'm like, I'll play as Arsenal because I'm not fucking playing as Man United because I'm not being like one of the sheep. I saw a video of like loads of people doing that, like in the street after Man United won the other night. People are such sheep sometimes, man. Like,
saved all
you're playing as Man United.
Job. Of course I am, but that's
Probably,
because I've followed Man United when I was younger. They were my team. It just so happens that as I'm jumping back in with some interest, they've re-signed the best player in the world. So the rest of the
which came first?
balls.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken or the Ronaldo?
I came first because I followed them when like Cantona was still playing for them. So.
Okay. But yeah, anyway, with this eFootball nonsense, like they've had to come out and put a statement out today, which is basically unheard of for Konami to even react to anything that the fan community says.
Because they don't care about fans. Look at Metal Gear. What was that last one called? The Metal Gear bullshit. They just went radio silent. Yeah. They were like, "We're not going to speak about that game. You've got it tough."
But eFootball has it's the worst rated game on Steam ever.
Yeah, no wonder.
Ever.
It's not a game though. Like, that's the problem. They've just kind of released. Like, I've seen demo discs before for football games, and it's been like friendlies, but it's been. That was a cat that just hit me with that door.
Yeah.
Like, can you stay in here?
Yeah, and PES has done it before, and they've put out like a demo where it's been like you can play a couple of friendlies, or you can play a half or whatever, and then it shows you like here's what's going to be in the full game.
Why couldn't they pay for playtesters, quality assurance guys, before they even put this out? This is crazy. Like, even ask for fan feedback properly. Like, instead of stealth releasing it as football game. Like,
I was worried, right? See, when they put out that demo, that didn't have the title on it.
Yeah,
it was like new football game demo,
Konami,
like whatever that was. When they put that out, I was worried. But when I played that, the gameplay was like, it wasn't terrible. It was very unpolished, but it wasn't this. It didn't feel like this. Like this feels like a different gameplay.
So this is
like,
what I
totally
mean.
different game.
Do you think they dropped the
Weird.
PES name because someone said we have to release it, and someone said, well, you're not using PES because this is going to fuck the taste in people's mouths about PES. If this and when it does fail, we can at least then keep continuing with PES and just call it eFootball was a disaster for us. We're moving back to PES. I definitely think that's been some variation of a conversation that's happened. 100%.
I just don't get the whole eFootball thing. Like they're trying to make it an esport or whatever. Like, it's not gonna fucking work. Like doing it like this. Like, I understand trying to make it happen, and I understand the want to do this, but you need to have something there for people. Like, a live service game has to get people to keep coming back to it, like over and over and over again. Like, that's the draw of like Fortnite. Like, your draw is level up your battle pass. You go complete your daily quests. Your XP keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up, and you don't like level up your character or anything like that. But gradually you unlock your cosmetics, your skins and whatnot, and it's fun. PES needs something like that. Like FIFA has shit like that. They have like pro clubs or whatever it is, where you're like, or Ultimate Team, where even if you don't put money into it, you're still building up your team. Like every time you're winning, you're earning coins, and then you can use the coins to buy packs, and packs give you new players and boosts and all that sort of shit. So then you apply that to your team, and your team constantly improves and improves and improves. And eFootball has nothing at all. Not even like, even the old PES games when they had these like online type systems in there, you still had like, you would level up your guy and you would get into like different groupings. So like you would start off in like, I can't remember what the specific terminology of them were, but like you would start off in like, you'd be in the bronze tier, and then you'd go up to the silver tier and the platinum tier and the gold tier and whatever. You would move up in different brackets in that, depending on how many games you won and lost. And you would have like a total number of sort of points, and you would start with like 400, and then you would go up to like 410 when you won, and you would go down to like 405, 395 when you lost. And your idea was to try and get that number higher and higher and higher. But like this one has absolutely none of that, and surely it could have been easy for them just to implement a number system like that. But
well, they can't even make a functional game. So, like, and the biggest thing is they've basically said they're going to sell it back to you in parts. So, like, you like Master League, yeah, you can buy that separate, and they're saying so it gives the player choice. It's like, no,
yeah, I actually don't even mind that. That's fine.
Because some folk would be like, great, I'll just buy Master League and then I can play FIFA. Because I know people that like PES for the Master League, but still played FIFA, you know, because that's the main one.
So like, you could buy your Master League, it's 15 quid for the season. Okay, cool. Like, that lasts me a year. For that type of thing to work, they must get it out as the football season is beginning. Yeah. Not
end of season by the looks of this. Hey, we're not getting it now.
Well, I mean, even if it came out right now, that's 8 weeks into the season.
A bit late.
It always strikes me as bizarre when like FIFA, because like FIFA's coming out now.
FIFA was delayed. FIFA was meant to be out in September. It got delayed for something.
Right. Okay. Because like, okay.
FIFA's usually the start of September. To be fair.
Even those though, like they should come out bang on day and date with the Premier League.
Same for the basketball, the hockey. Same for the basketball, hockey. None of them do though. None of them do. It's
there must be a reason behind it. Like there must be a marketing reason behind it, like money wise, for some reason they do it. But I don't know. But they know better than us, I suppose. But anyway, like with a free to play game, it's different because you don't have that. Like, we need people to buy this. People already have the.
You need to turn in users. That's what you need.
All they need is for people to get excited about football and download a football game. That's it. So if you have it fucking like new season ready to go, day one, as soon as the football launches, there's no buy-in. There's just a download and that's it. And people get very excited about football, like in the lead up to the football season back, and then when it's come back, they're very excited and hype about it for like the first full week of it being back, at least. So if you can hook them in, then's when you get them. Not 7 weeks into this season with this shit. No. Like I think they should actually like
scrap it.
Take this down.
Yep.
Take this down. Go back, fix
Apologise.
it, back.
Yep. What they should do in the meantime, and somebody came up with a solution, take it down, get it working. Because someone said there is a good idea behind all this. Like, there is something good here. So what they're saying is, take another year and work on it. And what to do is release a patch for PES again and just say, apologies, here's your update for PES. It's just teams and elsewhat, but that's your new update, and charge like a tenner for it, which was what they've been doing the last year, because they never released one at all. They just gave you the update. Just do that. People will be fine with it. They'll go and play PES with the team moves, with the new kits and stuff. Get rid of this. This is just going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths, and people will not return to this. Even top PES streamers, I can't name any of them, have now moved to FIFA, and they've said they're done.
I don't even know them.
No, but there will be ones, obviously, because like there's top FIFA streamers and stuff, and I've seen lots of people saying my favourite guy blah blah, favourite guy blah blah, and one of them actually commentated, a verified guy, saying I ain't returning Konami after this, I'm done. And they said I'm now on FIFA. It's not what I wanted, but here I am. So the only way to come back is to bring back PES. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're probably right, but I think that the eFootball thing they want to continue on with that. So, and that's fine though. You can have that as a free to play. They've had free to play like PES things in the past. They call it like PES Lite or whatever.
I kind of get the concept behind the whole thing on mobile. They want you to be able to play this game anywhere. Like you're at work on a break, you can play on your phone. You're on the train, you can play on your tablet, and you're at home, you can play on your console. That's what they want.
It's the Fortnite model. Like that's what they're going for. But they don't.
They need to have a good game first.
They needed to have a good game, and they had a good game, and they like because last year's PES or the year before's PES that they patched up last year was fine. Like there was nothing really wrong with it. It wasn't like the best PES game ever, but like it was perfectly playable. It was totally fine. And then they like went and destroyed the gameplay and changed it to something that's.
They moved to the different engines so that it was usable. Because remember when they first revealed PES and they were like, "Look, here's what it's going to look like," and it was like photorealistic. That it looked, and then it's have you seen the pictures of what they showed us and what we've got? Like, night and day.
But yeah, eFootball is very, very bad. It made me go. It made me even go and play FIFA because I'm like I wanted to.
And that's not something Andy's done in years.
And I don't like. I tried FIFA like a couple of weeks ago, like when it came on to EA Access, just like and I was like, oh, it's just FIFA. Okay, I'll play PES when it comes out. And then like, not PES, eFootball, fucking eFootball. But then playing eFootball, like I played, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 matches. And I'm like, it feels so off when I'm playing that. I'm like, I need to go and play FIFA to see if like this is how FIFA plays. And FIFA plays absolutely fine. Like you're like, okay, this is like a polished game. Everything works. It feels like it should. As eFootball does not. So yeah, it's a very bad game. I would like if you're curious, download it. Honestly, like even if you're not into like football games, download eFootball just to see how bad it is. It's very, very bad.
Konami might pull it like PTs to keep it in your console so you can make £1,000 odd.
Oh, would I sell? I mean, a PS5.
Put it in your PS4, Andy. Put it in Bethany's PS4 and just say leave that there.
I'll maybe put it on our Xbox One X.
I could see this happening if they pull it because Konami pull PT and folk will be like, oh, I need to play that eFootball now.
Well, the thing is though, like eFootball is an online game, so like it's not gonna, it's not gonna do anything if it's offline. I like.
Yeah, it is because you don't play the standard mode online. It's not online. You can play the friendlies offline.
You can play.
No, at the start you can say connect and play offline. You can play the exhibition matches.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay.
Get it on a console and keep it aside.
And then sell it when that
Konami
goes
pull
away.
it.
That becomes a rare thing.
Yeah.
How much is a PlayStation 4 with PT go on it going for?
I've seen them go for like £400, like as recently as last year.
So it's double. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
PT's good. I wish I'd kept it. You can't re-download it. I'd have played through it just for curiosity. Sometimes I miss it. It was so cool.
It's fucking. It was too freaky. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it was good.
But it was probably very good from that sense because it was scary.
I got the ending. I got the Norman Reedus ending. So.
I did not. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, the eFootball can fuck off. It's terrible.
Do you think you will go back to this if they improve it, or are you FIFA this year to play it?
I will go back to it out of curiosity periodically to see when they patch it. Every time they patch it, I will go back and play it to see if they fixed it. That being said, I don't feel the need to buy FIFA because I have the 10-hour free trial, and I don't take the notion that often to play a football game. Different if it's a free PES,
Yeah.
then I'd probably play that more. But
Because FIFA
I
came
have
out
the
today,
10-hour free
didn't it?
trial.
And eFootball
FIFA came out today, but obviously it's been available for like, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks or
few
whatever
days
with
on
the
the free
EA
trial.
access thing.
And the Ultimate
Yeah,
Edition came out 5 days ago or whatever it is if you paid like
yeah.
£100. Yeah.
Yeah, and I obviously, like I say, I don't play football games that often anymore. Not
Unless
like
it's
I used
football,
to.
unless it's Football Manager.
Even that, I try not to play that because it's such
you get
fucking
addicted.
time suck.
That's why you
Yeah, 'cause
didn't buy it
I
on
do
Switch,
it.
wasn't it? Because you'd be like, then I can play it on the
Yep.
toilet. I will never leave
Because
that.
I did play it. I did buy it on Switch, and I did play it on the toilet, and I played it in bed a lot more, which led to me staying up very, very late some nights. Like, and I'm like, I had to delete it, so I stopped playing it. Like, it was very difficult for me to delete it as well because I was enjoying it. But anyway, like when I feel the need, I'll play FIFA up until this trial's finished, and then
You'll
if
get
I
it Black Friday
finish
for
the
20 quid.
yeah, maybe. I mean, if I finish the trial quick enough, then maybe I would think about buying it on Xbox.
How many
But
hours is left in
worst
your
case,
trial?
under 9. So I've played maybe
An
2
hour.
hours. Like probably 2 hours, like total. So, and it's all right. Like it's fine.
2 hours and it's been out for like...
It's better than eFootball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I've probably
anyway.
played 5 matches of FIFA. Like, it plays so much better than eFootball. I will say that. But yeah. Anyway, moving on to the other news story.
Alan Wake.
We also need to talk about Alan.
Yeah.
Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. This was one of the big games back in the 360 of, you can't play it, PlayStation fuckers. This is our game. Early days, this is one of the ones I had alongside Mass Effect 1, Gears of War, those sorts of games. I never finished it. Then they brought out Alan Wake's American Wasteland, I believe. That was like a spin-offy kind of thing. Which apparently some of the things in that leaked forward into your... Are they calling it the Control universe or the Alan Wake universe? I think they're going with Alan Wake universe, aren't they? Like the Alan Wake.
I don't know, but it is in the same universe.
Yeah, so we've got a good few news. I watched the gameplay of Alan Wake. I recently played the original one, and I'm like, the upscale's okay, but it feels a bit dated. So what they've done is they basically done a Mass Effect 1 style remaster of it and released it at quite a cheap price, to be fair. It's $24.99, and that includes all the DLC, the writer and... cannot remember the name of the other one. They've updated the character models. They've updated dialogue. They've even included references for Control and what's the other one? Iceman, Quantum Break. So
Okay.
this game, obviously, Andy never experienced, being a PlayStation Nintendo guy back then, and Andy's a big fan of Quantum Break, which was one of the biggest Xbox One exclusives because there wasn't many Xbox One exclusives. That console didn't have a lot for it. It was good by then.
Yeah, I liked Quantum Break. I liked Control. So I should like this.
100%, man. Like, I will say, I've pre-ordered it, Andy. I fired up the original because I've got it digital. And I went, do you know what? I'm having fun. I got to the bit where I was stuck at, and it turns out it's the end of the first fucking level almost, Andy, that I get stuck at all those years ago and gave up. I get past it, and I'm like, do you know what? I'm enjoying this that much. I'm going to stop right here. And I'm just going to pre-order it because it's out in like a week. Because I tried it like the other day and I'm like, do you know what? $24.99, I'll pre-order it digital. It's out in 4 days, in fact. 4 days. And Andy wanted to play scary games this month. So Alan Wake is going to be one of mine. It's got a really cool concept of, there's like shadow things. A bit like BTs, but it's more like kind of guys with axes coming towards you, like following you. And you have to shine the light on them to weaken them. Then you can shoot them. I've not played Control all the way through. I played Quantum Break a lot more than Control, but Control has got some DLC now in the Ultimate Edition that Alan Wake appears in, ties it in. I'm now interested in this whole universe. I like the way they're going now that they've got ownership of their property. It's coming out on PlayStation as well for the first time. Yeah, this is a great game. It's about a horror writer that goes on vacation to a cabin. I don't want to do too many spoilers for Andy. But yeah, you go with your wife, you try and get inspiration, something happens, stay out of the lights, the whole tagline, and you kind of have to fix shit. You start finding manuscript pages of a novel that you haven't even written yet. So the whole thing is really interesting, and some of your creations start coming to life. You know, it's a really cool twist and stuff. I have no idea how it ties into Control, but I think this game is going to get me to go back to Control, maybe even Quantum Break, and see how they all tie in, because this is obviously a precursor to Alan Wake 2 coming out, because Alan Wake 2 has been rumoured for ages, and I'm pretty sure it's Remedy that made this, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Remedy,
Remedy.
They wanted Alan Wake back off, I'm sure Xbox or Microsoft owned the property, didn't they? And they wanted it to get, and Microsoft, I don't know if they sold them, but they got control back of Alan Wake, so they can now release it on multi-platform, which is great.
See what you did there?
Yeah. So the only thing that won't be on PlayStation though, which is a shame, is Quantum Break, because it was an Xbox exclusive. I don't think they're going to get the rights for that back, but I don't think it ties in as heavily to Quantum Break as it does Control. I think Control's kind of, it's the Iron Man of the universe, and Quantum Break would probably be the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk. Do you know what I mean? And Alan Wake is probably your Avengers. So this game's going to be great, Andy. The graphics in the update, like I said, the nearest comparison is Mass Effect. That's the level of detail they've went into. I would even argue more, because they've replaced character models, they've re-recorded things, you know, and they've done some kooky things. Like, one of the news stories this week was that Sam Lake, the voice actor for Alan Wake and the actual model for Max Payne, which was one of Remedy's first games for Rockstar Studios, Rockstar. Yeah, it was. Sam Lake jumped in a lake to promote Alan Wake Remastered. Let's have a wee look at that. So, if it would like to open,
jump in a lake. Why?
Yeah. So he even tweeted it. So on the video game developer chart of Weird to Normal and Serious to Goofy, where Hideo Kojima is, Weird, Serious and Rare is normal Goofy, you'll find Remedy creator Sam Lake is firmly in the Weird and Goofy category. His latest publicity stunt for the release of Alan Wake Remastered is proof of this, as the madman not only jumped into a freezing cold Scandinavian lake, fully clothed, but he also drank coffee in it. And he tweeted, "Alan Wake Remaster's out next week. Can I come home soon, please? The water is freezing." The coffee thermos is an iconic part of Alan Wake, of course, but we're a little worried that dear Sam is going to keep up these stunts, and soon he'll end up getting possessed by the soul of his fridge to promote Control getting remade on PS7 in a few years' time. Alan Wake Remasters has been reportedly rated for Nintendo Switch, and I think it's going to be a cloud-based game. But we have no official confirmation on release. It will come to PC and other consoles next week, October 5th. Because Control already did the cloud-based thing, so it would make sense. So that was
Control's already on.
Control's on Switch. Yeah, I tried it.
So yeah,
I tried it. Runs fine, absolutely fine. And that was me playing off a Wi-Fi connection, which was it would run even better on Ethernet. But we had a few comparisons. I don't know if you watched any of these videos. I was very excited by them. But see, even they've kind of re-edited, or there's certain scenes of the game. Like, obviously these trailers are mostly footage from the early game, and it's like a different angle of shots in the game, so they've actually put proper work into this, rather than just, I keep comparing it to the Devil May Cry HD remasters, and it's like, they're not remasters, you've just put the game on PS3 now, guys. It's the same. Alan Wake Remastered looks like it's had some love and attention, and I think they had to, because if they want to continue with this series, they needed to make that happen, because it's got a big cult following. You've never touched it, and Alan Wake 2 I think is at least a couple of years out, but they ain't stopping with this universe, and I love the way it's going. I think this could lead into books. I could see a TV series, no bother. I mean, look at Quantum Break, they kind of dipped their toes into that. You'd half TV show, half game. What's your thoughts on Alan Wake? Are you going to pick this up after all this, and are you excited?
None of the marketing things of that speaks to me and sells me the game any more than it does, but what I will say is that I loved Control, thought it was fucking great, and I really liked Quantum Break as well. Thought it was really good. So, based on that alone, I should buy this game.
Yeah, the fact that you love cinematic universes or gaming universes as well.
Not even that. Like the fact
It's all
that
connected is your favorite
developer
catchphrase.
made. Well, yeah, I do like that, but like that, the fact is that developer made these two games that I really liked, and it's
Yeah,
like a third-person action game. Maybe it's a little bit more horror and stuff. And the only reason I didn't play it back in the day
it's hardly
is
Resi
because I
7,
was
but
never, I was never exposed to it because I did not have an Xbox.
yes.
Like, I didn't have access to an Xbox, so I never bothered with it. I didn't even look into it at all. Um, all I know about it is from like working in game shops, like more recently than when that, a lot more recent than when that game came out, and that it was a game with a guy with a torch. That's all I really know about it.
Yeah. It's great. It's a really good game. Even the original version has aged okay. I don't know if this got an Xbox One X patch, but I think it might
Not sure.
have. It's even the graphics in that haven't dated that badly, but the minute I seen the trailer for the new version and the comparison, I stopped my playthrough and I went, "Don't, don't! It's £25. You're getting some new content. Just wait." And I did. I stopped. I deleted it from my machine.
What console are you going to play on if you're getting the new one?
Xbox, because this is an Xbox franchise for me. It's like Mass
What
Effect.
about haptics? Just abandoned haptics.
Oh yeah, haptics would be really good in this. I think
I
you
don't know
should
if
get it
there are
PS5.
haptics in it. I'll get a PS5 if I'll pick it up on PS5.
Is this a day one purchase for you, considering the price?
When's it out?
4 days time, mate.
I don't need to buy it day one. Like I can wait
You
till
do,
I see
because I
it.
want to play it at the same time. I want to talk about it on the show. It's a scary game for your scary month. Like most folk give up drink sober October, Andy just plays scary games.
I will play it this month. I will tell you that.
Nice. Cool. I'm just really excited about it, and I didn't know that I would be because, like I said, this is a game I got early days of the 360. I don't think it was a launch title. I got mine like a year after it came out 360 anyway, but I don't think it was a launch title. But it was out by the time I got mine, and I thought it was incredible for the time. And do you know what? I didn't even link that game to like Quantum Break at first. I linked it to Control because that's when they started talking and hyping up Alan Wake again and talking about Alan Wake 2. But when Quantum Break came out, I didn't even link the two games. Like, I didn't even link them to Max Payne until I seen the photo of Sam Lake and went, oh shit, it's Max fucking Payne. Like, oh yeah, Remedy made Max Payne as well. Right. It's weird. Weird. It's weird to think that the Lemmings developers helped make Grand Theft Auto as well, that DMA design. They made the original Grand Theft Auto for Rockstar, you know. But yes, Alan Wake, if you've not played this game and you're looking for a spooky game that's not anywhere near next-gen prices, but a next-gen up-res game and 4K and all that jazz, then buy Alan Wake for $24.99 digital or physical. Like, you might even be able to shop around and get it for £20 at some places. I'd imagine there's going to be somewhere like Cool Shop Gaming or whatever it was. They usually do things at $19.99. But £24, you can't argue. You're getting the DLC, great game. If you've played Control, the physics, the controlling, well, not the physics, because you've not got. I don't want to spoil anything. It plays very similar to Control. Plays very like gunplay and such like that. But your main at the start, you've got a torch and you have to kind of shine it on them and shoot them. It's not open world by any means, but it's kind of Uncharted style open world. Maybe not Uncharted 4 because it was a wee bit open, but Uncharted-ish. Like I said, the original aged really well, and this one looks fantastic. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I've never finished it, so that's us talked about Alan. That's us talked about eFootball. I'm going to finish there. Okay, my thumb. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching. If you want to stay tuned to our channel, you can hit subscribe, share, like, stay tuned, whatever the kids say. Do that and you can keep updated. If you don't, just leave us a comment. You get an Alan Wake? Do you like eFootball? Let us know. Follow us on Twitter. We really appreciate if you watch this. And we do shows on a Tuesday, usually on a Friday. And we do payday pickups usually once a month. I'm looking forward to the one that we're going to do after this one because I wanted to hold back. I get Andy wanted to do it in the first and stuff like that. So we're going to do one of those soon. And that's it. We don't do streams, but Andy should stream some of his horror games. I really think Andy should stream some of his horror games because Andy going, oh my god, is some of my favourite moments in gaming. But thank you very much. I've been Ali, he's been Andy, and we'll catch you on Tuesday. Bye.
Goodbye.